All right, everybody, we're back here at the Squared Circle Action Figure Podcast YouTube live stream, Uncensored, today with none other than Zombie Sailor Toys, the ZST, as I like to say, of IG, Zombie Sailor Twitter. I mean, it's Josh, thanks so much for coming on. What we like to do first, though, I want to just make sure that everything is kosher as far as the video, it's playing, everything sounds good. So I'm going to go on real quick. You could talk and say hello for a second here as well to all our followers and listeners out there while I do this. How you doing today, man?
Pretty good, sir. Thank you for having me. For the dozen or so people that are tuning in, thank you for joining us. You're going to hear some really cool stories, and you're going to hear some behind the scenes information. So I appreciate all your continued support. Heels and Faces is doing phenomenally well. And again, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. And it'll take some time for people to get in. I can hear you, Josh, so that's great. And just remember, everybody, we're the Squared Circle Action Figure Podcast. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you love the video, if you love what we're doing here with the live streams, give us the thumbs up. That'll help boost our content, blah, 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 blah. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at SQDCircleAFP. And Zombie, where can you follow you on your social media platforms?
Yeah, definitely. So on Instagram, I'm it's at Zombie Sailors. That's an S at the end. At Zombie Sailors Toys. On Twitter, it's at the Zombie Sailor. And my website, of course, is zombiesailor.com.
Wonderful. And as you all know, Zombie Sailor started out really in the beginning selling vintage toys online via Instagram, via his website. He had some really amazing stuff. So, Zombie, you're all decked out today. You got the earring, you got the gold chain. You started the dangler's on. You started selling these awesome retro toys, and now you're a pimp daddy here. You know, you're just rolling in the money. You got Heels and Faces going. How do you start selling retro toys? Where does it all begin for you, my friend?
Dude, I've just been a fan of action figures my entire life. You know, I just turned 37. So, you know, growing up in the early 90s, I loved all that stuff. You know, loved wrestling, WWF Hasbro figures, of course, Bucky O'Hare, Beetlejuice, Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, you name it. I always loved them. As I've gotten older, or my early teen years, I just bought a lot, never stopped. Well, one to very nice. It was like the Egon Ghost, whatever that is. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah, man. And just, I always bought doubles growing up, being a teenager, one to open to play with or display, and one to keep packaged for a rainy day. I just had, I just amounted so many carded figures. I started selling them. I started to make really good money. And I said, hey, maybe I could turn this into a business. And as they say, the rest is history.
It is, man. And you did an incredible job selling some great retro stuff. I mean, you could have, from you could get Hasbro's at the time. You were selling Motu stuff. I mean, it was incredible. Just quickly, I do want to thank everybody for joining us. Travis, thanks for the chat. Wrestling, Heels, and Faces. Yes, you got, I don't know, I think you got the heel-ish face, and you got the heel here with me. So it may be heel and heel right now on the YouTube live stream. But thanks for joining in. Zombie, what I'll do is if chats do come up and there are questions, I will just field them to you. You know,
yeah, of course,
as we go along. But that's a good story. You know, that's what we have. We have a passion for wrestling figures. We have a passion for action figures here in this community, and it's fun to see that you could take that passion and really turn it into your own business and be successful and continue to also support some of the greatest wrestlers of all time, I would say, with this new Heels and Faces line. You have Series 1 come out, very successful, right? I mean, it's been great. The Series 1 pre-orders and everything, your sales have been good and everything like that.
Dude, it was insane. I mean, I had a gut feeling that, you know, it would do like really, really well. But like once the website went live, in the first, like, I think 3 minutes, it was like $120,000 in sales in the first 3 minutes. It's insane, man. And like, you know, we're selling numbers I never thought imaginable. But what it comes down to is, hey, I mean, I have a passion for what I'm doing. I think, you know, fellow collectors recognize that. More importantly, I'm filling a big void in the market. I mean, I never thought anyone would see like a retro style, Sabu figure in the year 2021 at the time, now 2022. So yeah, I just want to make a lot of the stuff that I wanted when I was a kid or a teenager that I dreamed about or fantasized, if you will. And now that I have the means to do it, I'm like, you know what? It's now or never. I mean, ECW was my favorite thing back in the day, and I always wish they had made like retro style ECW figures. So now here we are.
Yeah, sorry about that. That was my little music thing. No, totally, man. And, you can go to, obviously, zombieseller.com. You had the Danhausen figure as well. As you can see here, I put this up. You are sold out of Series 1, which included Sabu, Dino Bravo, Earl Hebner, Matt Cardona, and Brian Myers. The packaging looks great. Explain to us a little bit about the style, though. They are a retro style, but more with a more realistic look, correct?
Definitely.
Yeah. So was that like your intention going into this to kind of, move away a little bit from that toyetic Hasbro look or that Mattel retro toyetic thing? Not to say these are not toyetic. It's the wrong terminology, but was that it to be more lifelike?
Absolutely, man. So the whole deal from the start, my whole initial vision was never to have these be a copycat of a figure line or figure lines from the past. It was always to make it my own. So like we wanted to have like a little love note to the past, like inspired by certain aesthetics of the 90s wrestling toys, and also have these updated realistic sculpts. So it's like the best of both worlds, if you will. So that's where I always wanted to be. Even if you go back over 1 year ago, January 4th, 2021, when I first showed the wax sculpts for Matt Cardona and Brian Myers, I even said in a long ass post that I wrote, it's going to be like, modern meets vintage, and, it's going to be like the best of both worlds. I forgot what I wrote per se, but something along those lines. So that's what I wanted to do, man, because I figured if the 90s figures were still around 30 years later, they certainly wouldn't look the same. Even if they had that same scale, they certainly would be updated. Yep. So I feel like this is where they would be, and I wanted to take them to the next level. So it's like 90s with a facelift, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. And they look really awesome. A few questions I have personally about Series 1, and maybe, just the I would say the engineering of the figures. I see removable hands. I see, accessories, removable accessories. Will there be a time where you're thinking about swappable heads? Because I do have a question. I saw you posted the photo of the Andre, which, dude, looks stellar. But in one photo, he doesn't have an angry head sculpt, and then the other, he does. So that led me to believe that maybe you are going to do swappable heads or something. I mean, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, there's certainly going to be swappable heads for certain figures. Like right now, we're working on the Nick Gage, Matt Cardona, GCW 2-pack. So those definitely are going to have like swappable heads. As far as Andre goes, we're still like, thinking about how we're going to do it, because like, it's a whole big thing, because it's like a licensing department that we have to like kind of consult before we're going to tell them what we're going to do. So like in a perfect world, I do want to have Andre with swappable heads, but at the same time, I also want to have him where you can get the black strap with one head, and you can get the blue strap with another head, and vice versa. So.
Yes. And just really quickly, Travis said he did buy Series 1. He bought the JJ, the orange card, Danhausen. He can't wait. Everybody can't wait for the next series coming up. He does have a question. What other wrestlers from the Attitude Era, beyond what is already planned, do you want to make in retro figure form? Let's just say, you don't have to tell us if you can't, obviously, but some of your like favorite wrestlers from the Attitude Era, if you were able to do them again. And this is a good segue into licensing and stuff, because we want to explain, we want you to explain that, how you're being able to get these wrestlers and give them the money, give them a percentage of the sales, etc. Can you answer his question, and can you maybe go into a little bit about licensing and the rights to make these figures a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. As far as guys from the Attitude Era that I would want to make, I like, the Hart Foundation. Again, if it was like up to me, what I would do, like, the Hart Foundation with all of them, including Pillman, which we are doing a Pillman figure, like, Brett, Anvil, they were cool. Pretty much I would do everyone if possible, but it's just so hard with licensing, because WWE owns so much like intellectual property that it's like a minefield. So you have to be really careful like what you're doing and not step on any toes. So I mean, off the bat, I really can't think of any that I'm going to be doing from the Attitude Era, even though I will. But it's all a matter of like, can I like legally do it? So
Yeah, got you. And basically, it comes down to like people that are signed under WWE Legends deals or people that the WWE owns rights to, like their names, pretty much off the table. Like, for example, Dudley Boys. I mean, I know Bubba has said on Busted Open that he can't even use Bubba Ray Dudley anymore, and he can't use his Dudley Boys name because WWE owns the rights to it. So that's why he was changed into Bully Ray and all this stuff, you know? So it's very difficult to do some of those things, right?
100%, man. It's like, I mean, I'm trying to think of like some wacky gimmick that I can come up with. Like, you know, like for example, like, you know, like the big boss man, right? You know, you can't just, if you were to get like, you know, what's his name? Like Ray Trailer. Or Ray,
yeah. Yep. Ray Trailer.
Right? So if you were to get like somehow Ray Trailer's like this, even though I know it's not a possibility, they're women's hell, but I'm just saying I can't put him in the actual big boss man costume and call him the police officer. That's violating intellectual property laws. That's violating their rights. So just so people know, I mean, there's a lot of guys that I'm letting slide through my fingers, not by accident, but deliberately, because I just simply can't do it. You know what I mean? So I just have to, you know, make sure everything is like legally sound. Like, you know, I have, you know, my attorney, he makes sure I could do what I can and cannot. You have a whole law team legally that looks at this to make sure it's okay, because again, it's a minefield. There's so many guys, pretty much anybody ever worked in the WWF, and chances are they had a gimmick that was provided by them. So you have to be really careful not to use that. Excuse me.
Yep. No, totally understandable, man. Really quickly, getting back to pretty much like the engineering part of this and everything. Obviously, we have Series 1 here. You're going to do the Matt Cardona with the Nick Gage coming up, kind of GCWS. We could see repaints, right? I mean, I saw you had Sabu's paints and, you know, pants and different paint, purplish, greenish, different greenish colors, all this stuff. Can we expect some repaints and then maybe added accessories and all that jazz for the future of the line?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly have nothing set in stone as far as repaints, even for Sabu. I mean, we had him in pink pants just to see which one we were going to use between the green pants and the pink.
Yep.
That wasn't meant to be like, you know, like a second one. But I mean, it all depends if there's a market for it and if there's a demand. Like, let's say a year from now, all the Sabus are sold out and we're not making any more, then we might give a different version. Or the same thing could be said for any of the characters that we're doing, you know? So, I mean, I wouldn't want to keep making the same guy for like 5 years straight, God willing, if it gets that far, or even a year. You know, I want to give the people that were kind of at the ground floor within like the first year, kind of like something for being there at the start, and then giving everyone who missed it a chance to get that figure, but with a new color scheme, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And you see a lot of people doing this. I mean, NECA does it, right? If you missed out, Turtles, Super 7, same thing, re-releases. So you want the people to have these figures. This is not going to be like, oh, limited run, you're done, you'll never see this again.
Oh, no, definitely not. I mean, listen, it's certainly limited because, like, you know, like if you go to Target and you go down the toy aisle, you're going to see 1 million WWE figures from Mattel. You're going to see 1 million Star Wars figures from, who makes that? Hasbro, right? Whatever.
Yeah,
so like, you know, and then you times that by how many Targets are, how many specialty toy shops there are, how many internet stores there are. And, you know, they're pumping out a single character. They might make like 100,000 plus of any given character, you know?
Yep.
So, I mean, we're never, ever going to get to those numbers because even if I had the ability to be in Target, honestly, I wouldn't want to be in Target. That's why I never pursued that. But, I'm just so happy to deal direct to consumer and certain specialty shops. You can have a couple wholesale accounts set up for like good toy stores throughout the country, but that's neither here nor there. But like even though they're not necessarily going to be like, you know, mass produced, we're still going to make like a good number of them, but nowhere near a fraction of what the big guys pump out. So they're always going to be like limited to an extent, if that makes any sense.
No, it does make perfect sense. And with that said, you know, you do have that kind of limited nature of it, but you'll be able to get it. And then do you think you're going to do exclusives and stuff? I mean, like, will there be variants, or will there be like really like one of 100s and stuff like that? I mean, or any plans on
No,
something like that, or you're not really into that game?
I'm not really into that game, man. Like, not definitely not 1 of 100, because like again, these things take so much money to produce. So I would just be shooting myself in the foot to do that. Then people would be complaining that they're so limited. And like, again, I don't look at this from a corporate type of view. I mean, I do in a way now, but I'm like a fan first and foremost, which is why I got started in this.
Yep.
And like, I would know if, God damn, there's only 50 of this figure, there's only 100 of this figure. I would want to be somewhat of a completist, and I know I would never get that. Or if I were to get that, I have to pony up a lot of money or be on a website refreshing every second. I don't want it to be like that necessarily. So I feel like, I always want to give people like a fair opportunity. Like, a perfect example is the Danhausen figure, and the more importantly, the Jeff Jarrett Orange Card Series figure that was for San Diego Comic-Con. I could have did fucking 500 of them, 1,000 of them. That would have been it. Would have sold out fast and would have maybe drew more of a demand for future releases, but that's not my style. I had a 2-week open pre-order. Whoever wanted one got one. How was that not the best recipe? Nobody can complain then. Nobody could say, oh, I didn't get it. Oh, I was in front of my phone for an hour refreshing in front of my desktop, took the day off from work refreshing, I didn't get it. I've been there. I've done that with other companies in the past. It's frustrating. Yep. It's stupid. It's foolish. And it creates an artificial demand. So why not give everybody that wants one a chance? I think that's the perfect recipe.
Yeah, I agree. And get rid of that whole that scarcity principle, that false scarcity principle and whatnot, and just give it to the people. I love the idea. I pulled the Jared up here because you just mentioned him, and you see, I see these wonderful drawings here, right? And they're amazing. I mean, I know you had that awesome video, that interview with Ron Rudat. I mean, God, that was eons ago, and I've watched that interview, and I thought it was great just to learn a little bit more about him and his passion.
I tried,
for this.
man. He doesn't remember anything. He's an older guy, and just think about it. Like, if someone like tried to get information from me at my first job, which was at Funkoland in 2001, that old video game store for all the guys that are like, my age that know about this.
Yeah.
Like, that was my first job. If I was at a sit down interview and people were asking me what it was like to work at Funkoland from 20 years ago, I wouldn't remember shit. So how is this guy going to remember shit from 30 years ago, being 70 years old? You know what I mean? So I tried to get information. I wasn't going to feed him answers. Everything with me was organic. So a lot of people complain about the interview. It is what it is, but Ron's a good friend of mine. I cherish and appreciate his friendship, and he's a great guy, and he's a fucking brilliant artist, and I'm so happy to have him along for the ride. So
yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. How did this all develop? I mean, did you know as soon as you met him, this is what I want him to do? I want him to do these drawings for me. I want to recreate this. Like, you saw the talent he had, and I mean, not only in wrestling. I mean, G.I. Joe is his bread and butter. I mean, my gosh,
sure.
And I'm a big G.I. Joe Mark. I mean. I love G.I. Joe. So, yeah, I mean, did you just knew it was a connection right then and there, when you first met him, or?
Yeah, definitely, man. When I went to his house, when I was fortunate to do that back in like 3 or 4 years ago, whenever it was, like, he was still doing commissions for people, like, random like G.I. Joe commissions, or like someone like themselves as like a G.I. Joe character, like doing an action pose, whatever.
Yeah. And
I was like, man, this is beautiful. Like, I'm like, you still got it, man. This is like inspiring how you could like draw like this. Like, it's a talent that I wish I had. And, years later, like, I contacted him, and I was like, hey, how would you like to design toys again? I told him my whole idea, and at first he wasn't really having it. He's like, oh no, I don't know. And, I didn't push him because, I'm not a pushy person. I hate to make someone do what they don't want to do. That's just never my nature. That's never my intention. I just hate that. I hate sales and being pushy. So I'm like, all right, think about it, blah, blah, blah. And even though I'm not pushy, I am persistent, if that makes any sense. Yes. So like a year later, I touched with him. I'm like, hey, man, because now I'm like, at the time it was just an idea, but now I was going to do it with or without him. I had the finances done. I've been saving up years to do this. I have no outside investors, no interest, no loans, none of that BS, dude. This is all me. And I had the sculptor secured, the factory, the painter, all this. Like, all the wheels were in motion. Now I just needed a designer. So I'm like, I want to go back to Ron one more time. If he can't do it, I'll get someone else to do it. And again, I gave him my pitch. and I told him what I was doing. I showed him the sculpts from other figures he's done with NECA.
Yep.
And I said, Ron, this would be great. I would give you, top billing. I would give you credit. You're going to be a big star of the show. And more importantly, I'm paying him really well. So
there you go.
and it all worked out. And I'm so glad to have him on board, man, because he's a big reason for a lot of people's childhoods, whether they realize that or not, whether they want to admit that or not. This guy created endless G.I. Joe characters. He created the G.I. Joe Cobra logo. I mean, that's such an iconic image, not just for toys, for like popular culture, So this guy's been around. He has the experience, and to have him on designing these figures is a dream come true, man. And I couldn't be more pleased. I'm really, really thankful.
Yeah, and this is why you got to support this stuff. I mean, this is what you're doing. Again, it just harkens back to your passion, and your drive and your love for this stuff, and even going back to the old designer. I mean, it's just incredible. And I got a lot of his work on your, series 1 here right now. And just looking at some of this stuff just brings you back to the Hasbro era. And just even when all of these design photos started to surface, these drawings started to surface from after the line ended, and it just brings you back to that nostalgic moment. And I think that's what this line is there to do, man. And I love it. And going back to what you said about paying people, well, that always helps. I'm sure he has a couple grandkids that love that. And paying people is important too, because you have to realize that you're doing this the right way as well. I know there's other people out there that are doing a lot of stuff the right way too, but you are doing it the right way. They are licensed by either the wrestlers or the families, so they are getting a proceeds of these sales, correct, Zombie?
100%, man. Definitely. Everyone is being taken care of. Like, I'm not doing any sort of shady deals like, hey man, I'll give you $200 and I'll make an action figure of you. And there's like, I hate to say it, but there's probably, a good amount of talent out there that haven't had an action figure in a very long time, or haven't had an action figure period. They're like, oh shit, this guy wants to make an action figure for me. He has the means to do it. Okay, I'll be an action figure. Give me $500. But I'm taking care of everyone, man. Like, Matt Cardona said on his podcast, the guy's had, an amazing lengthy career, and he still has plenty of gas left in his tank. And, he even said that from his one figure alone, from pre-orders, that was the best payday he's ever gotten for action figures. Now, everyone's deal is different, of course, but I mean, I'm taking care of these guys, man. I have a heart. I love wrestling. I love toys. And I know a lot of these guys aren't well off. Like, if you're not educated in this shit, you're thinking these guys are, the millionaires. This guy was in the WWE in 1994 for 9 months. He's a millionaire. No, a lot of these guys are, hate to say it, and not putting anybody down. A lot of these guys are struggling, or just have regular jobs, or they're older, or might be broken down a bit. So not only am I giving them, I feel like sort of like a second chance at like life in the wrestling spotlight, even if they can never have a match again, but I'm also helping them out financially. So it's a win-win-win for all across the board. If you're buying this, you're supporting somebody like myself, who it's like a dream and a passion. That's one. You're supporting the talent directly, and out of it, not only do you get to feel good about doing those two things, you're also getting a really cool collectible designed by Ron Rudat and a really awesome sculptor. So it's a win-win-win-win across the board, man, which I can't say a lot about or any other toy company, to be honest with you, from what I understand.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And especially, I don't even know, how do you define, I guess, these small toy businesses or whatever. I mean, it seems like they're popping up a dime a dozen these days, and it's really like the good people that you want to focus on, you want to support. You could see in this quality, even going back to, like you said, the NECA sculptor here. I mean, I'm not familiar with the work he's done at NECA. Maybe you can actually explain to some of our listeners and viewers a little bit about the sculpting as well,
Yeah, definitely, man. So Alex, if you're listening, I'm sorry for butchering your last name, but his name was Alex Hink, or Hinke, Heinke. Alex is an amazing person, man. He's such a skilled artist, such a skilled sculptor. So yeah, he does a lot of freelance work. He does a lot of work with NECA, who in my opinion is straight up the best action figure company in the past 10 plus years. No bias. I just love their work. Randy, who is who runs the show behind the scenes of NECA, brilliant guy, great dude, man. He knows how to run a business, and I'm so inspired by that guy. And he hires the best of the best for the best of the best action figure companies. So Alex does a lot of freelance work with them again. He's done sculpts for that Guillermo del Toro movie. What is it called? Like the Shape of Water, right?
Yes, I remember the Shape
Yeah.
of Water. Yep.
So I remember like years ago, maybe like 3 years ago, I got like the Amphibian Man toy from like, I ordered it from like Big Bad Toy Store or something. So I couldn't find it. Like, I don't think Target was even selling them at the time. But yeah, so I think it was Big Bad Toy Store. Anyways, I ordered from there, and like the figure, I'm like, damn, I seen photos of it. It looked beautiful. Getting it in hand, an amazing figure. So he sculpted that. So it's cool. Like a couple years ago, I'm gushing over this figure. Now I'm like calling him like, hey man, how's that Raven figure coming along? Life is crazy. Life imitating art.
Yep.
He sculpted Sigourney Weaver for Aliens from NECA. He's done the latest like Kurt Russell from The Thing. What's his name? MacReady, whatever the fuck it is. I'm just like, on the spot. I draw blanks, but I'm all into this shit. I just can't remember the name.
Yep.
Yeah. So he's an amazing sculptor, man, and I'm so happy that he's doing it. So far, he sculpted literally every single body, every single head. Now in the future, am I going to get other sculptors to do other characters? Sure, I see why not. But at the same time, I want to have them on as long as possible, just so everything looks uniform. That you could tell was from like the same person, like cut from the same cloth.
Yep, because that's what I was.
Sense.
Yeah, no, because every artist is a different style, right? And it's all
Yes,
about
100%.
that style, and it's all about whether you're doing a painting or you're doing sculpting or whatever. You want to, like you said, have that uniformity, especially when you're starting the line. I think that's extremely important. You don't want to kind of stray away too much from that.
No way, man. Like we've seen it before for other places. Like how many times do you look at a toy line? I'm not going to name names from not just for wrestling, for anything. And you look and you look at like a character in the same series, and they look like they're from all different walks of life. You know what I mean? They look like they're from all different toy lines. But obviously, something went wrong. It tells me that someone else sculpted them from one character to the next. They weren't uniform across the board, and that affects your quality. That affects your bottom line. It just throws a monkey wrench in your entire freaking, for all your credibility. So
yeah, well, luckily they have Walmart just to take a bunch of this shit and and pay them on net 30, right? If not sooner.
Don't care.
But anyway, I and that's what it comes down to. I mean, it's just a lot like corporate, right? You even said you don't want to be that corporate. You don't have that corporate structure. You don't want to be that person. So it's a situation where, yeah, I mean, look, I'll call it out. This is my channel here. I don't want a Trish Stratus figure to look like that Trish Stratus that came out from Mattel. It looks god awful. It's one of the worst figures of the year. But then in in the same series, you could have Kushida that's gold.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. So I agree with you. With the uniformity and the sculpting and everything like that. Andre. Again, I go back to Andre because I'm just baffled. I'm looking at Andre the Giant here, and I'm just like, oh my God. Now, even from Ron's perspective, when he saw this, as he was, I'm assuming he originally designed Andre for Hasbro WWF Series 1, no? Did he do that drawing for the original?
So, a lot of guys from Series 1, if not all of the guys, were not done by Ron Rudat. It was either done by Dan Price. I think there was 3 artists, believe it or not, that worked on Series 1. One was Dan Price, who I believe did also Cops and Crooks for Hasbro.
Oh, I love that.
There was, yeah, me too, man. There was like another artist, a woman, I forgot her name. And then I believe there was a third gentleman that also did it. So believe it or not, Ron Rudat did not do
Andre. Wow.
Not do the original artist. So that's why when I gave him the opportunity to do Andre, he was so excited because, as you saw in that great, compelling interview that I did with him, he's like, he's not a big wrestling fan per se, but he's a fan of Andre the Giant's. It's like, he's a worldwide icon. Everyone knows who Andre the Giant is. So once I told him he could actually design Andre, he was like, oh, you got Andre the Giant? How did you do that? And yeah, he was satisfied. And I loved how the drawing came out. I think it came out fantastic, man. The blueprint.
Dude, the blueprint came out awesome. And I got it pulled up for everybody right here. It looks sick. And just even his face, like the reference photo for his face, it's the best Andre face in as again, what was I'm sorry, the sculptor. I'm bad with names, so my memory.
Yeah, Alex.
Mm-hmm. I think he personally nailed it. I love it. I love both sculpts. We've been wanting an Andre that looks like Andre for a very long time.
Yeah.
And for some reason, people can't get it right,
No, you know, here's the thing, man. Like, so again, huge wrestling fan, huge action figure fan, and I'm probably getting a lot of hate for this, whoever fucking does watch this interview. But like, I feel like, you know, other than like the early 90s, like cartoony, like Hasbro style figures, I feel like other than that, there really weren't like, there's never really been great wrestling figures. And again, you know, agree or disagree. I mean, I like the Jakks Classic Superstars. I love the packaging, but in no means were they great. Now, sure, there was a couple of like, you know, like really good ones. You know, the same can be said for any toy line. But for the most part, there were never really great like figures that like capture the likeness. Like, I'm not really a big fan of like, you know, the elite scale figures. I mean, I like the scaling. I just don't like the actual figures. I think most of the time it's a miss as far as the paint goes or as far as the actual molds go. Like, more importantly, what I hate, and again, this is like just, it boggles my mind, but I understand it's a corporate thing. It all comes out to dollars and cents. Like the knee pads and the elbow pads look like shit on every figure,
Every
man.
figure, yep.
Like, I remember I got a Macho Man, like one of the last figure, actually maybe one of the first figures ever. Dude, my memory's so fucked up. It was a Macho Man figure, and like I'm looking at the elbow pads, and the knee pads. I'm sorry, and they're like coming out. They're like fanning up like this. It looks so ridiculous.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, that's not. Yeah, so like, I don't like that, man. So like, so my whole point was to go out, and yes, they're not elite scale size, and you know, yes, they're 4.5 inches, and you know, you can make an argument wherever. But I really, truly, I mean, and I don't say this with a big head. I say this with all sincerity. I truly want to come out and make the best wrestling action figures, period.
Yep.
So, you know, and again, I don't want to say this with, I certainly, I'm self-aware. I don't have a fucking gassed up head or anything. And I truly believe that we are on our way. I really believe that in 10 years from now, people are going to be looking, I don't even want to say back on this line because I never want to fucking stop. But I feel like people are going to be looking back on this line and be like, God damn, man, that was something else, man. This guy came out of nowhere, financed his own toy line, did everything the right way. Killer sculpts, killer paint apps, killer packaging, you know, just beautiful presentation. Man, this shit was like the whole, you know, like the whole package.
Oh yeah.
So.
No, I agree, and I agree with it. And I actually share a lot of your sentiment about those things like knee pads and whatever. And I think that's what I love most about. And again, I'm going to a company. I love Super 7. I think they're doing great work. They take a freaking shit ton of time to get their products out and stuff. And I have complaints here and there, but I even love their NJPW. Like the knee pads were great. They're sculpted. They're great. They fit. They look real. They move around. You know what I'm saying? They just looked better without just this thin kind of plastic fanned up bad paint job knee pad on a, you know, it's terrible, you know? So they do take the time and effort in those areas a little bit, and they get a lot of flack for a lot of things they do, but I absolutely think they're putting a great product out. As you said, packaging wise, everything, and scale is important to everybody. My gosh, I had an argument the other day with somebody in a toy shop about how he won't even look at a retro or a Loyal Subjects or something just because it's not going to fit his thing. And I get it from his perspective. I get it. You have limited space. I get you have limited money. But some of this stuff is so nostalgic and so fun. I don't understand how people could just shut that right out, no matter how good it is. It doesn't make any sense to me, you know? In dealing with the scale situation, as you were discussing, you knew you wanted to be Hasbro scale, right? This was not going to be like a larger statue style figure. I mean, you were dead set on having it inspired by the Hasbro line, right?
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, I just wanted to have it inspired by like 90s figures is what I could legally say. But
yeah.
You know, it took a big inspiration from my childhood figures. So I just wanted to make them somewhat in that sort of similar style. So that was always the idea, man. So again, you know, I do like the scale of the elite, you know, AEW figures and all that stuff, Mattel, but that's not where my passion is. And like, you know, I want to put all of my energy and all of my resources in something that I have a knowledge in and something that I believe in. So it would make no sense for me to go in the complete opposite direction. It makes no sense. You know what I mean? If I'm really good in baseball, I'm not going to try out for the football team and shun baseball. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to try to focus on what I know I'm good at, or in this case, knowledgeable in. And here we are.
There you go. Bushman was on here. Thanks, Bushman. Mark Bushy. He's been watching.
Mark.
He gave a big shout out to your H2O shirt right there. Retro. That's the Halloween shirt right there.
Look at the guns. He's got the white glove. You get the white glove service at ZST, guys.
Always, man.
Always. You know, you see him just beautifully presenting everything with the white gloves. I love it. I tried to do the black gloves. I was gonna do you have the white gloves, I have the black gloves in my video, just to do a little spoof of you.
It'll be like NWO Hollywood versus fucking Wolfpack.
Yeah. I thought that would be funny, but anyway. So all right, here's where I get confused. You got a ton of stuff coming out, and we talked about this prior to coming on, so I'm kind of putting you on the spot. I was scrolling through because I know Series 1 what it is. I kind of know what Series 2 is. How many series? So you've announced Series 1. You've announced Series 2. Have you announced Series 3 and 4? I know you just throw signings on there and you do the artwork and you announce. How far ahead are you planned in the line, and how many series can you release to us right now? Like, we know 1 and 2, obviously, but.
Yeah, definitely. Dude, I mean, there's like, I think 48 guys I have. Actually, no, I think over 50, because I just signed like some pretty big guys within the past 2-3 weeks. So it's probably over, I was like 53, maybe 54 people we have signed now.
Wow.
Honestly, like, I know, like, it took like, I hate to fucking say this because there's so many idiots online that be like, oh, what the hell, we don't have it yet, blah, blah, blah. Dude, for how fast I'm getting these out, forget about being indie. I'm not, I'm trying to use a cop out or anything, but for how fast that pre-orders taken in June to almost having them in hand ready by the estimated release date, which is between December and February. And for the amount of, how many figures we're producing, and this being my first go around, I think it's absolutely remarkable how fast I'm going to get these out there. That's neither here nor there. But once I have everything ironed out, I'm telling you, man, I'm going to have like a new series out like every 5-6 months. And I could do it even sooner. But the thing is, I understand these are expensive. It is what it is. And like, I don't want to like make people pick and choose. Like, I want people to be completists. I want you to have, a Kevin Sullivan figure in your collection you never thought you would have. So like, it's originally I wanted to do three a year, but now I think it's looking maybe more like 2 a year. Then of course we'll have like that occasional like set or that special figure for like, San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, what have you. But right now on the very, very, very low end, in hand, nothing in life is guaranteed, right?
Yep.
But I'm going to say in 2022, collectors could absolutely have the first 5 figures in their hand, Series 1. They're going to have Danhausen, Jeff Jarrett in their hand. That's 7 figures. 6 figures in Series 2. So what's that? We're at 13 total figures. And I can absolutely assure you there's going to be another set, which I can't say, that will 100% be available in hand before the year's over. So 13, 14, there's probably going to be minimum 20 figures in people's hands before 2022 is over. In-hand production, everything done.
That's awesome.
Like Series 2, like it's well into production right now. We're just finishing up Raven, but other guys already, like Gage, Cardona, the molds are made of these guys now. So by the time Series 1 comes in and like that's done getting packaged up and shipped out, like I'm going to take pre-orders not too far after that. And there's going to be a very, very short wait to actually have them in hand.
Yeah, and I mean, you had the I think this is, I'm showing everybody here from Series 2, King Kong Bundy. This is the fully painted prototype, which looks great. I mean,
yeah,
so
that's fully painted.
That's awesome. I mean, so really quickly though, Series 2 will be, and again, refresh my memory, it's going to be Bundy, Gage, and Cardona.
No, so Gage is going to be in Series 2, but there's going to be a special version of him, like a bloody version in a 2-pack with another head. So 2 Gage heads, bloody version, and then with Cardona with the bloody version. And he's going to have 2 heads also, and like a special GCW 2-pack. So that's going to be like its own standalone release later on towards the summer. But so Series 2, we have King Kong Bundy, Raven, Kevin Sullivan, Bruiser Brody, Andre the Giant, and oh my God, this is terrible. Who am I forgetting? There's so many freaking guys. And Nick Gage, right?
Yes, and Nick Gage.
So 6 guys. Yep. And Andre is going to...
Series 2 is going to be Andre already?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
He was my ace up the sleeve, man. I've been working on that guy for a long time. That's why when I showed it, big reveal, and I showed the artwork, people were like, oh, it's cool. We'll see him in fucking 20 years. No, next day I showed the goddamn prototype and it's being painted as we speak. So yeah, it's going to be like super hot shot, man.
Wow, that's special. That's awesome. Cool. And then even to get Raven that early, I'm super psyched for too, because I'm a huge ECW guy. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy every ECW guy double from you, so that's guaranteed right there.
And appreciate it. Dude, I love ECW myself. That was my favorite time for wrestling. I remember staying up at 2 a.m. watching it on MSG here in New York.
Yep.
I was like, I think 12 years old. My brother was a year younger than me. He was 11. And like, I remember my grandma, my mom running down the stairs screaming, making like it was the biggest crime in the world that we were up trying to watch TV at 2 a.m. Like, I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, what the hell was so bad? We were just two kids wanting to watch our favorite show, which happened to be ECW Hardcore Wrestling. And, going nuts, like, oh, turn that TV off, blah, blah. It's 2:40 in the morning, Saturday. Okay. But yeah, anyways, ECW was my favorite wrestling, bar none. My favorite memories of wrestling, my favorite times ever going to live events, meeting the wrestlers back in the day, and just I have the fondest memories for ECW. So that'll definitely play. Stars from ECW will play a crucial role in the heels and faces brand. A lot of guys from there, Sabu included, don't get enough justice, I feel. So I'm going to, like kind of right all those wrongs by kind of being shunned by, I don't want to say they were shunned by the industry, but shunned by like the toy industry, I guess you could say.
I mean, I'm pulling up right here on Instagram for everybody to see your 2021 top, right? And Sabu is number one. So that says everything you just said right now. You got Sabu and Danhausen. And Danhausen is up there 3 times,
Wow.
Can you believe that? There's a lot of people that he's so over, and I have a love-hate relationship, but great guy. Good for him. He's getting over like hell.
Yeah, dude, if I told you I'm never going to release a specific number for like how many to the exact amount sold. But if I told you how many Danhausen pre-orders pre-sold, you wouldn't believe me. It's like mainstream toy numbers. Like as they were coming in, I was like texting Danhausen throughout the 2 weeks, especially the first couple of days, first couple hours, and like sending him screenshots in real time of the back end of my website, showing him how many people were on, how many orders came in. We both couldn't believe it, man. So thank you for whoever purchased the Danhausen figure. Thank you to all of Danhausen's friends and fans. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, and it's good for him too. And this is another thing. When you see a guy like that go down, lose a job, he needs all the support he can get right now. So
100%.
You got to feel bad a little bit, and for you to go out there and do this for him, I think is very great. And I'm glad that you both capitalized off of it. And as fans of wrestling figures, we get a freaking awesome figure. I'm not a Danhausen guy. I bought one of these. It's sick. It's got the cape. It's got the money. I mean, it's just sick. It's a sick piece. You did a great job on the card. It looks great. He's super toyetic. I love it. Thanks,
man. And yeah, I'm sure, if people are listening, he was going to be in series 2. Andre was going to be in series 3 because I don't want to give away too much, but of course, a lot of the toys are inspired by the 80s, 90s, but series 3 was going to be more late 80s centered, if that makes any sense. Early 90s, late 80s with no new guys.
Yep.
So once we got Danhausen up for pre-order, because again, his injury, and I wanted to help the guy out. I'm like, shit, this can help him out now. I'm not going to wait and give him his royalty check, wait for the series 2 to come out in March, April. This guy could use it now, so why not? So obviously once the sale was over, I paid him immediately because that's how I am. I hate overhead. I don't know anybody a dime ever in my life. And he got paid quickly. So now I'm like, series 2 you could do with 5, but I'm like, let's try to fill that void that Dan has left. Let's go back to 6. I'm like, who could I do that would make a really big impact? Because now this line has a lot of buzz. I'm like, what can I do? And I'm like, not screw series 3, but forget Andre being in series 3. Forget about that whole late 80s vibe that we wanted to have. Let's just put Andre straight into series 2 and throw him into the fire. And here we are again.
That's sick. And so pre-order early this year. I did see it because I do see the Bruiser Brody here. Looks great too. I love the scars on the forehead. He's going to come with the fabric fur boots and soft goods vest. I mean, super sick. So again, to reiterate that for everybody that's listening and watching, we got Brody, Bundy, Raven, Sullivan, Nick Gage, Andre the Giant.
Yes, sir.
Six
guys. Oh, dude, in 2022, we're going to get 90s style figures of Nick Gage and Andre the Giant in the same toy series. How ridiculous is that? It
shows you how good wrestling and how good collecting is right now. The best ever.
It's insane, man. I mean, I know from the outside looking in, if another person had this company and put that lineup together, I'd be like, holy shit. I would just DM him and be like, dude, here's my PayPal. Let me just pay you in advance of the advance, because mean, not for nothing. That's a pretty I think that's a hell of a lineup, man.
It's a hell of a lineup, and that will go early this year. Do you have a set time? Can you give that away? It'll be this month, next month? No, Q1,
Yeah,
Q2.
Whenever Series 1 comes in and every single order is fulfilled, that's when Series 2 are going to be up. Because, like, like, I don't want to take any more pre-orders without people having an actual production figure in hand. Because let's just say they get it, and then the highly unlikely case, like, these figures suck, I'm not going to buy any more of these.
That will not happen.
I don't want. Yeah, I know exactly. It won't happen. I'll make sure it's not going to happen. But let's just say, like, I just want people to realize, holy shit, this is the real deal. These are straight up legitimate action figures made in the same factory that makes sideshow collectible 6-scale figures and fucking statues. This is not a guy in his basement making this. These are like straight up premium quality articulated collectibles. And I want people to realize that and see that in their hands. So once Series 1 gets fulfilled and I'm done packing up all those freaking orders, me and my Gorilla Banjo and a couple of my other buddies, once we fulfill those and people have them in hand, that's when the Series 2 hyping up starts, and that's when they'll be up for pre-order.
Wonderful.
So, I mean, yeah.
And I know, like, I know everybody's faced as well. And the shipping update I see here, you did announce this on your Instagram page that, current schedules to have all production figures shipped out to us to the factory mid-January. So me being in logistics, I mean, you're at least 6 weeks on the ocean, depending on what port you're in. So yeah, I'm thinking conservatively, I'm saying, or not conservatively, but not conservatively, you're going to have figures in hand by March, in my opinion. Definitely. Like, guys, trust me.
I think so, and I hope so, man. Like, the thing is, like, here's the thing. So, like, I was saying earlier, like, I'm constantly in contact with the factory, whether, texting or not texting, but, like, we have this on WeChat, I'm talking to them, or email. I'm always in contact with the factory. It's not like, okay, I hear from them in June, I hope everything's okay. No, I'm with these people 24/7. They're invested in me. I'm invested in them. So once they have everything ready, it can go out. That's when I can give a true update. I'm not going to say, okay, we're going to have them, February 16th, because, I don't want, God forbid, something to go wrong. Like, Sabu's paint is off or the color of his turban is off. Like, I'm going to make sure everything is correct. And if we have to wait a little longer, it is what it is. Sure, there's going to be people that are upset, but listen, the delays that are out there are going to, mine are going to pale in comparison to what has been done before for pre-order. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I'm just saying, like, it's not going to be, if there is a delay, it's not going to be a huge one at all, because we're so far along in the production right now. So it's
guys, it's not going to be Mezco. It's okay.
Yeah. It's not like, sorry,
I think
guys,
I've been waiting for my 89 Batman for 2 years, but
dude, it's crazy, man. And again, that just goes to show you, like delays are real. Forget about COVID and all these other little pieces. Like, just, delays happen, but like, I think the fact that I'm so much OCD and I'm like constantly nagging these people to do shit like so fast. That's why, like, I'm getting this done like at lightning speed. So it is what it is.
Awesome. Yeah. So guys, again, it's the climate. It's a little delayed. It'll be here. Trust me, you're going to get the updates. Again, follow Zombie Sailor on Instagram, Zombie Sailor Toys, and then follow him on his Twitter page. What was it? The Zombie Sailor, I believe?
Yeah, the Zombie Sailor. Instagram is Zombie Sailors, S at the end.
Sailors.
Zombie Sailors Toys.
Yep.
Yeah, zombiesailor.com.
Cool.
Like I said, there's a lot of names that are signed, a lot of good stuff's in the pipeline. Like, like main event marquee names are going to be like, what the hell? Like, I didn't think anybody would ever have seen Andre the Giant coming. So, I mean, I'm all about, popping people and like them being like, holy shit, and giving some people something to look forward to in their collection. So I'm just trying to sign the coolest names available and, at the end of the day, make people happy and make people proud of their, collection or, whatever's lacking. So
few questions about the lineups again. Can you say anybody that's in Series 3? I've seen like prototypes of One Man Gang. I've seen who else here? I'm trying to see One Man Gang, Mike Awesome, Roadkill. Man, the names, like you said, they're 50 plus names, but of prototypes I see that like OMG. Is he going to be in Series 3? Is it safe to say? Or...
I can tell you 4 guys right now. I mean, I'm not going to post this on Instagram. I'm going to wait till they're fucking done, but it's fine.
Yep.
So 4 guys that are going to be in Series 3 right now. You ready for this? So One Man Gang, Slick, Paul Roma, Hercules Hernandez.
Oh, we get Power and Glory together, but I know they can't. Can they be Power and Glory or no? No.
No. No, they cannot. They could be like.
Excuse me. I got to rail that back. They could be Hercules Hernandez and Paul Roma. We're going to get them.
Yes, sir.
Together.
Yeah. Powerful and glorious.
Yeah. Well, look at LAX. They're proud and powerful now. So I don't know. But yes, powerful and glorious. So no, that's awesome. It's great to put that together. Now you're going to do the 2-pack, obviously, with Gage and Cartetta. Could we see tag teams like put them together or no?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We'll see tag teams and stuff like that. You think?
100,000,000%. I could absolutely assure you're going to have tag teams. Like, I just want to focus on the single guys first. Like, series 1, series 2, and then Jarrett and then the Danhausen. But without a doubt, there's going to be tag team 2-packs are going to fucking. I'm sorry for cursing. Who's ever out there, like, this guy's a degenerate. It is what it is. This is how we speak. I don't curse that much, but it is what it is.
This is an uncensored.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure at the end of the day, you'd rather have somebody that's real, that keeps it real with you, instead of putting on a fake PC mask and you're not seeing the real person. This is really me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it is what it is. But tag team guys will definitely be in the future as a 2-pack, no doubt about it. Huge names have been signed for that. So once, series 2 starts, like, really ramping up production, and after series 2 already has the pre-order going, then you will start seeing, like, the tag team guys emerge, and it's going to be like, it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be sick. All right. I mean, dude, so excited to hear about that series 3, obviously. Thanks for telling us, dude. So I'm going to pause right now. I was at AEW last night. I am hoarse. I had no sleep, and I had a lot of daddy sodas. But that show was killer. So part of me I'm like, fuck. Part of me be a little out of it, guys, with my verbiage and the way I sound and stuff today. But yes, it'll be sick. We need a Zombie Sailor action figure, but instead of wearing the white gloves, I need the gold gloves, the gold band watch, the earring, maybe the tank top with the chain. I mean, that would I'd buy it.
you and my mother would be the only ones.
No, there would be everybody at the Toy Con would buy them too. They all know who you are, Josh. Come on now, come on.
Oh no, I maybe, but here I am. I said earlier, like, I wouldn't do like 1 of 100. If I were to do like a 1 of 100, that would probably be it. Like, something so stupid that, like, if someone like doesn't have it in their collection, they're not going to be like trying to even bother finding it. You know what I mean?
Totally. Travis came in here. How difficult was it going back and forth between the company making the figures and yourself to make sure that they were getting the sculpts right when they were mass producing them? Sorry, there was supposed to be sculpts, not scalps. Okay, totally, Travis. So yeah, I guess how difficult was it going back and forth with the factory to make the figures and make sure that they're correct and everything like that? Let's just say for, I don't know, Sabu, how many times did you do that?
Yeah, honestly, it wasn't difficult at all. It was a breeze. It was a walk in the park. It was very, very pleasant because, again, the factory that I'm dealing with is a factory that's been around since the 50s that deals with NECA, Super 7, Sideshow Collectibles. These people know what they're doing. You know what I mean? This particular division specializes in collectibles. So it's not like I found a random website from Alibaba like other people and just randomly have somebody making sculpts for them that doesn't necessarily have an interest or knowledge of how to do that. These are people that specifically make this sort of thing. So it was a cakewalk. I mean, sure, revisions, that goes without saying, but it wasn't like, oh my God, his eye is by his cheek and his nose is to the left. No, nothing like that at all. Everything was great. I'm dealing with straight up professionals. All I do is deal with professionals. So everything was straight from the get-go, and I'm very thankful, and I'm very, very happy for that, man.
Yeah, totally. I mean, again, it looks all great. First shot prototypes, sculpts look great. Paint master prototypes, they look all great. I mean, I'm glad that it's been seamless, and that's, I think, a lesson to a lot of people out there that want to do this or are doing this. Be legit. Find the right people. Do the research, have the passion, have the love. You're going to get a quality product, and that's the key, quality, because these aren't the cheapest. There aren't the, let's just put it that, but there are quality, and that's the key to it all.
Absolutely, man.
Quality over quantity, man. Quality over quantity.
100%. I also just want to like let this out there. You get $40 each, and the price might even go up. Like Danhausen, it was $40 for one day, so it was Black Friday. Raise the price for $45. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are not like experts in the behind the scenes of action figures, because unless you're working in that field, like why or how would you be? But like, let me explain something to all the listeners out there. Every time a different paint app touches the figure, it raises the price. Like Danhausen has a shitload of tattoos, right? Mm-hmm. His price that we were quoted are damn near double of what a regular figure of ours goes for, because there's so much involved, plus all the added accessories, plus the cloth wired cape. So it's like, the $45, it wasn't there to jack people up because his figure was selling well. That's stupid. I mean, it's not stupid, but it's something I would do. But it's truly there because his costs were so much higher, and you're getting so much more value there for $5 more. So anyways, just so people know, like, the $40 each, I'm not going to give you, an answer how much I'm paying per figure. I would never do that. But there's probably people out there that think I'm paying like $3 a figure or something. I'm charging 40, and I'm like fucking, crying all the way to the bank. No, these things are costing a lot of money, man. I can tell you right now, I'm paying more for each one of these wholesale than probably what you pay for what, a WWE Mattel Elite figure is in a store. You know what I mean? So it's like, sure, I'm making a profit, but I'm not making like a killing. But it is what it is, man. Let people think what they want. And, it is what it is.
Yeah. And it's all about scale too, and the supply and the production run and the cost of the tooling and everything. Like
the molds are insane.
Yeah. The molds, I mean, they are insane. And I've heard other molds quoted out to me before, and I was just like, what? Like, are you kidding me?
And yeah, if you take a mold that's like, like $15,000 to make one of these, for example, and you divide that by 2,500 for each guy, that right there, I mean, I don't know what math off the top of my head, but that costs a lot per unit before you even find out what the actual figures are to make them. You know what I mean? Plus what it costs you to make the prototype, to get it painted, to get Ron to do a sketch, to get someone to take the photos, to get someone to post it on social media. And you know what I mean? It's like, it's a whole huge process that people don't realize. And I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm just trying to freaking just
educate.
Know, like,
yeah,
I'm trying to educate, man, because there's people out there like, I see so many comments like, oh, $4 to rip off, these should be $10. Dude, are you nuts? Are you nuts, man? Like, yeah, so I'm going to charge you $10 so I can lose $15 on each one because I want to make you happy. No. So it is what it is, man.
I got Travis on here. He said he'll buy 5 Zombie Sailor figures. So now we got 5. I'll get 2, 6, 7. Your mom will get 1, 8. And maybe you'll buy one for yourself. So yeah, you can produce 10. We'll sell 10.
Sounds good, man. So yeah, so right now we're still greatly in the red. So it's looking good.
You got to charge Hot Toys numbers, probably double Hot Toys numbers. For those
$295.
Yeah.
Insane, I'll come to your house for that price, and I'll have fucking dinner with you.
Yeah, there you go.
Pay for you'll be. Yeah, it's not working out for you regardless.
Oh, jeez. Edwin, I don't know. Edwina, I don't know who you are, but Wartech, I have no idea. I mean, if you're talking about my voice, or maybe, I don't know. Like, we don't have like the super greatest setups here. We're, but we're doing the best we can. That's important. And
yeah, man, I'm doing this on an iPad, man. Full disclosure, I don't have a freaking major studio in here. I'm not a podcast. I don't have mics or anything. It is what it is, man. I'm just doing this on my iPad, having a good time. That's answering some questions.
And I want to thank you, Zombie, for coming again and doing this, because I'm like you. I'm not too pushy, but I am persistent at the same time. And I think you recognize that and you appreciate it. And, I met you probably 2-3 years ago at a toy show. We did some deals together. And I just followed you, and we've talked behind the scenes and seeing everything develop. I really wanted you to come on here because I know you're very passionate for this stuff, man. And I just love seeing your growth and journey as your business and stuff like that. So thanks for coming on here. I don't care what your tech looks like, man. You want to come here at the Squared Circle Action Figure Podcast, you can come here, and I don't care, because I want you here. I want you to tell your story. And this is real. This is what we do here. Uncensored, real.
Uncensored, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, man. And then also for everyone listening, like even though wrestling is like my number one like passion, and I don't even watch new wrestling anymore, to be honest. Like, of course, I know guys like Danhausen, Nick Gage. There's like a select like few that I like, but I don't watch AEW. I haven't watched WWE in years. I haven't watched NXT literally ever. I'm just, I'm not that into it. I like the classic stuff, and that's where I'll stick. I'm a vintage nostalgic guy. I'm living in the past, and you know what? I'm okay with it because I'd rather be living there than where we're living right now. But without saying anything further, like, yes, I love wrestling, but like I'm also branching out. Like, I'm not just going to do wrestling figures. Like right now I'm working on some, like, movie licenses, like, some other, like, pop culture icons, again, without saying names, like, big names. So wrestling isn't going to be the only one and done thing that I'm doing. I'm going to do as much shit. And my whole goal is to have the Zombie Sailor Toys brand within the next 3 years to be like a huge, staple in the collectible market. I don't want people just to know me from Instagram and Twitter or anything like that. I want to be like a big player in this forever,
Yeah.
So I'm doing a lot of good stuff behind the scenes, man. And, I'm just trying to make people happy. I'm trying to make cool collectibles, and I'm a fan first and foremost. I'll always say that. And I'm trying to make things that I would be interested in. So I think I have good taste. Of course you could tell with my white gloves, my fake gold Z necklace, and my dangler, you can tell I have great taste.
Halloween shirt, man. I love it.
Yeah.
This is good. The back of the cap. What is your cap? What's on the cap?
Yeah, it's like Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that.
Hey,
so
you say pin ain't easy. It isn't.
Pin ain't easy.
It is.
No, it's not, man. I'm just trying to get as much stuff as possible, man, and just make a good living doing this. And that's it, man. Life is short. We don't know what tomorrow brings. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. So I'm just trying to live it up and make my younger self happy and proud.
Yeah,
that's all.
And a fan,
and my family,
and a fan, and a fan, and a collector of a lot of different things. If you have a little more time, love to talk about that if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
If you do have some time. You just posted those great prototypes of the unreleased Just Toys wrestling buddies, the Diesel and the Bret Hart. I see a wealth of awesome stuff. The Beetlejuice prototypes that you've shown on your Instagram page and such. You have a beautiful display here of Jokers. I'm assuming those are the Hot Toys version from Hot Toys.
A while back. Yeah, from like 2009, 2010. Yeah, man, I was big into Hot Toys when like no one even knew what the hell they were. Like, at the time they were like 120, 150 each, God forbid. And I just have a lot of them from years ago. I don't really buy them anymore. It's like I haven't bought a Hot Toy probably in 2 years. I think the last one was like that Tony Stark one, that Iron Man. Well, you can't see it really.
Yeah.
From not Endgame, Infinity War. But yeah, man, just they're so expensive now, and I feel like I got every character I ever really wanted, so I'm not just gonna keep buying just to buy it. You know what I mean? So.
Yep. Totally. What do you like to collect? I mean, is it more of those obscure 90s stuff, or what is your focus right now in collecting, or are you just happy with what you got? And if something like, got these, again, the buddies, we got to talk about the buddies because I'm blowing my mind away,
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, I'm pretty much content with everything I have, WWF, Hasbro, Beetlejuice, but my main thing that I love that it's so hard to find are like unproduced toys, because at the end of the day, sure, there's like rare toys out there, but for the most part you can always find whatever you're looking for at just about any given moment on eBay. So sure, it's rare and it might be valuable, but it's not truly rare if you could buy it at any given moment, right? So I like to buy, to go after things that are more obscure, like unproduced figures from the 90s, because there's only so many out there, like a handful, and it's like they're rarely being discovered. Chances are they already have been discovered, whatever exists of them still, and they're in people's collections. And just every now and then, someone will just like put one up for sale if they just want to thin out their collection or whatnot. So, it's kind of like a rush finding that stuff. And I'm not doing it just because it's a rush. I truly like that. That the fact is, I could potentially have somebody in my collection that was going to be made, never got to that stage for whatever reason. So I'm just really big into unproduced figures, man. Like Toxic Crusader, Bucky O'Hare, Beetlejuice, Last Action Hero, like all that type of unproduced stuff. That's my main focus right now.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and I love those 90s lines. I mean, I even love like I have sitting on my floor here some Bill and Ted's. I believe they were done by did Playmates do them or Kenner? Kenner, I think. Yeah, Kenner. So
Yeah.
I love. I mean, the Kenner lines were crazy. I have Mattel Food Fighters in front of me, and I've bought a Food Fighter off of you and stuff. So I love those little, niche lines. They're so. You talked about Cops and Crooks. I have a complete set of Cops and Crooks in front of me right now.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, it's crazy. I'll send you a photo of it in my, because so on this side everybody sees wrestling. On the other side I have just as many cases, but it's all retro, and I have like a premium display of like Hot Toys and like SH Figure Arts and Mafex and all that stuff and Mesco.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah, dude, Cops and Crooks, that's another thing. I just love that line. It's so cool, it's so like, it's so full of imagination. The character designs are awesome, and just it's a really great line, man. That's another thing. I wish I had prototypes of unproduced guys from that series, but those are like, God knows who has those, if they even exist. There were going to be another series that got scrapped, but yeah, those are some great toys, man. Hasbro, man,
they killed it. 6-inch. This is the first 6-inch O-ring GI Joe style articulated figures. They have articulated joints, movable hands, like almost like ball jointed on the head. I mean, these, and the amount of accessories they put in them that were metal, because they had the cap gun feature where you could put the caps in and you could, bust caps open with the guns. I mean, it's just incredible how this is like so far beyond. This should be made now,
yeah. Dude, and to think that, when did those come out? Like the late 80s, right?
Yeah, like 89 maybe, or maybe 80.
Yeah, whatever.
It was the late 80s, yeah.
And to think at one point, like granted, it was 3+ decades ago, but to think that that was the retail price of those was like $4.99, $5. How crazy is that to even think about?
Like I can't imagine like making that figure and making money off of it. like even in today's like world, I'm like, you look at the amount of accessories, everything that went into this. I don't know how they did it. It's amazing.
Shit, man, dude, everything was just so much better back in the day. I mean,
now you're taking me back.
I guarantee you it probably cost them like 85 cents to make each one of those figures. I guarantee you. And they probably sold it to like, let's say if Toys R Us was selling it for like, say, $6, they were probably selling Toys R Us for like $3 and change. They're probably making like, I think like the kind of rule of thumb is to make back like triple or quadruple. I think that's probably safe to say. So yeah, whatever. That's another story.
That's another story for another day. But because we're having fun, Travis was chiming in here about Big Kevin. I wanted to get onto this too because we're talking about collecting.
My best friend,
dude. How good is Kevin Costner? One, I love it. Waterworld is one of my favorite movies of all time. I have it on freaking 4K Ultra HD. Okay. And he comes out now with this amazing show, Yellowstone. Dude, make action figures of the Yellowstone people, because I would buy the whole freaking line. I mean, some of these IPs, I'm baffled why people aren't making figures of this stuff. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
Big Kev, what's the deal with Big Kev?
No, man, he's just a man, dude. Like, again, I'm big into nostalgia. I'm big into 90s. And if you ask me, like, Kevin Costner is like the 90s personified. He had so many hits from that era that he just defines that whole 90s decade to an extent. Like, sure, there's guys like Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise, but like, I feel like Tom Cruise, I feel like Mr. Kevin Costner has that like everyman appeal. And, you never heard him like, have a scandal. You never heard anything like dirt around him. And he just seems like, he seemed like an all around good guy. And once I had those sealed cases of Waterworld back in November of 2019, when the world was still somewhat fucking sane, like I had so many of them. I started doing like a stupid, like, I'm obsessed with Big Kev, blah, blah, blah. Then I watched Waterworld. I'm like, God damn it, I haven't seen this in years. It's awesome.
Yep.
And then I'm like, damn, man, Kevin Costner's a man. I always liked him. I always admired him, but I was never really obsessed. And I'm like, God damn, this character that I'm playing is kind of like real. It's getting, and then it just like got his like attention. And then like, he sent me a freaking, a couple of DMs were exchanged. And then he sent me that January 1st, 2020 New Year's, greeting, wishing me Happy New Year while he was clearly a little tipsy. And
having a little time.
Yeah. Then we just like, kept in contact, like every now and then I would DM him or DM his people. And then, then for the toy line, I just simply said, I'm like, yo, hey, Big Kev, my fucking toy line's launching, which is sick to even know that this guy even knows who the hell I am, let alone that I'm launching a wrestling doll line, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
doll line.
can you send, I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of times when I send him like a DM, like he leaves it on scene.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, I'm gonna fucking listen. I'm not gonna bother this fucking guy. It's fucking Kevin Costner, A-list. And then I remember the series 1 Heels and Faces launched on was it a Wednesday or a Thursday? I don't know, but let's just say it was a Wednesday. It might have been Thursday. But like that Monday, I said, hey man, Big Kev, I have this big toy line I'm launching, blah blah blah. I don't know if you've seen it. If you can give me a video wishing me luck, it would mean the world to me. I appreciate your time, blah, 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 blah. Read it like a little after I sent it, nothing. So I'm like, okay, I wasn't holding my breath, right?
Yep.
Next day, Tuesday, I remember it was a Tuesday. I was literally on my toilet on fucking looking at my phone. And then he writes back to me, what do you want me to say? I was like, what? I'm like, just if you could just, I'm like, anything. I'm like, it's just gotta be a few seconds, just wish me luck and say, have like, congratulations, whatever. And then he sent the video. Granted, it was like 10 seconds, whatever, but the fact that he wrote it back, I was doing like a fucking backflip. I couldn't believe it, man. The guy's a professional, man. The guy's such a good-hearted dude.
He is.
I appreciate him.
He seems like it, and I trust if he's hanging out with you. There's the Big Kev video right here.
Yeah, look, he's like on his.
He's in the beach on the island.
Like, think about that, man. Like, this is the guy from Yellowstone. This is the guy from Waterworld, The Untouchables, Dances with Wolves. Like all of these, The Bodyguard. All of these marquee titles, and he took. Listen, I understand that every 10 seconds to you is the same as 10 seconds to me and everyone else. But the fact that he took time out of his day to have somebody record that to send to me, to even respond to me, to do that, to give me a little boost, that meant so much to me, man. And that showed that, like, man, if he's gonna like put his name out there and his likeness out there for me, that shows that he trusts me, and that meant so much more to me as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I totally agree with you. It's super, super cool. And I just love it, the skits are very funny. What you're doing is amazing. The whole banjo stuff was really funny. It's goofy. It's funny. That's what we're here. We want to have fun in life. What the hell? You only live once, right? I mean, you were saying that before, like, do it right? You never know when you're going to go. And it's just fun. Scrolling down the site real quick too. Oh my God. I forgot you had some of these names. Enzo. And maybe Brooklyn, Swaggle,
Yep.
Jesus, I'm just looking through this stuff. And Roma Pettingill, I didn't even know. I didn't even see that.
What? I had Todd Pettingill sent over a video. It was awesome, man.
Holy shit! I must have missed it. I must have been out of commission or something. I mean, and I saw Jack Tunney again. I forgot Jack Tunney. Guys, insane line. I forgot about Slick until you mentioned him. Actually, for 3, You guys got to get behind this line, and you are. We all know you are. But it's just an amazing figure line. Josh, man. Talk a little bit about the buddies really quick. I don't know if you're going to tell everybody how you got them. It's a very tough question to ask somebody. Like, it's not like I want to release like where I got this, because then you're compromising all this stuff. In short term, how did you get them? How did you fall upon them? I know we've been looking at that diesel that Matt had for a while, Matt Cardona, that is, that he got off of Hastel Toy. And then you got the Bretts, which, oh my God, the Bretts look so freaking awesome. You love these unreleased stuff. How did you come into this?
Yeah, just really simple. So the guy that designed all this stuff, he actually lives in Jersey. And years ago, he was displaying at New Jersey Toy Con. He had the Diesel plush prototype, the one that Matt Cardona has now. So Hassel Toys bought it from him. Mitch from Hassel Toys, if you guys know who he is. He bought it from that guy. And this is before I was really interested in prototypes or unproduced figures. This was like, like the summer of like 2014 or something like that. It was a while back. And he bought it from him. And I remember the guy, he was a really nice guy. And then I ran into him at this past New Jersey Toy Con. I'm like, hey man, you were the guy with the Diesel, right? We just started talking, started chatting a little. I'm like, do you have any more? And he's like, oh yeah, gave me his email. He's like, I think I do. I'll look for them. And I was basically just in contact with him for like, a solid, 6 to 8 months. I think I spoke with him in April. And then we finally just met up a couple of days before I posted that photo. We made a deal. He got some good money out of it, obviously, because he knows what they are. And that was that, man. And this is really cool. I'm going to show everyone this. I didn't show this on yet. So he also had some extra, I don't know what the hell you want to call them, but the actual like extra sheets, like that where the actual like buddy was derived from. So I have 2 extra sheets of Diesel. Like obviously the nose isn't attached, and like it's like you can see like the back. It's not enough to make like a full figure, but it's just the scraps wherever he had. But what's cool to notice is the face on this one. He has just like a plain like line for a mouth, kinda nothing like interesting. That's the same one that Matt Cardona has, whereas the one that I got from him, there's a grimacing face, like he's like more of like a scowl, which he claims was going to be the final production one because WWE they said that this face was like too like timid and didn't look scary enough, so that was apparently going to be the final one. So yeah, I got 2 of these sheets. I don't know if anybody's interested in this shit. Maybe I'll sell them eventually. I don't know, but yeah, that's how I got them. Directly from the guy who actually made them, and they're cool, man. That Bret Hart, I remember seeing pictures of that way back when on the internet or whatever from the Just Toys catalog. And I'm just, I'm super appreciative to have that in my collection. And, just it's a cool piece. I'm a big fan of Bret Hart, and I'm really lucky to have it. Let me get it.
Yeah, I definitely want to see it. I'd love to see the detail. It's a sick piece. I mean, look at that.
Yep. So like in the ad, the glasses were colored, but keep in mind this is a prototype. This wasn't like the finished piece. And also he said for Diesel, he said the silver in the Diesel logo that's in the one Cardona has and the one was in the ad. Well, maybe not necessarily the one that Cardona has, but he said a lot of the times they colored in like the silver with actual paint for the prototypes. And then the production would make it silver themselves, he said, because silver was like hard to reproduce. So in the ad that you saw for Just Toys, that's like real silver paint, he said.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like the one I have, it's just white where it says Diesel. But yeah, anyways, where the fuck's my camera?
So that looks great, man. That it looks like the glasses are actually a separate piece, almost similar to like the Diesel nose, right? Are they raised a little bit or something, or
no? Just actually,
it's like sewed on.
Yeah, no. Well, like it's like I think the same thing with Diesel. Like it's like So this is like sewed on.
Sewed on, yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Like the nose is sewed on like a triangle.
Yeah, that's cool. You could see the stitching there. That's cool. No tag, I'm assuming, right?
No tag.
Wow.
Yeah, it's legit. Everything is good to go and art.
Beautiful. And I know Steph Designs on Instagram. She was, I believe, one of the original designers for the Wrestling Buddies, the actual WWF Wrestling.
Yeah, for Tonka.
Yeah, for Tonka. And I think she mentioned something about Just Toys using some of her stuff, or she collaborated or something. I don't know. There's a good interview that I believe she's been on with a lot of people, but just type it into your YouTube channels and whatnot and search bars and you'll find it. But yeah, I thought she had some influence on this or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe. I have no idea. Like I didn't bring up anyone else. So I just know is that he was the guy that did it. Yeah. He had him, and that was pretty much where our conversation started and like ended. Yeah. But yeah, maybe. I mean, who the hell knows? Maybe she was like a freelance. I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. Love the addition to the collection. If you have a Bret Hart sheet, I'll buy it probably.
No, just Diesel, unfortunately. Yeah. Two Diesels.
And you know, Diesel is just like, I don't know. I loved him when I was a kid. I love Kevin Nash. It's just like that appeal for Bret for me. I just gravitate towards Bret, you know? It's just he's just super fun. I mean, you know, I don't know. He's just a great wrestler. I don't know. Just does it for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Cool. Dude, I think we had a great interview, dude. Do you want to say anything about Heels and Faces? Anything else to our listeners, to our watchers out there? Anything to the community about what you're doing and whatnot before we wrap this up, man?
No, you know, I said everything I really had to say. Just again, you know, I always say it on my posts. I'm a very appreciative person. Just thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting the line, and in turn supporting, you know, some of the, you know, wrestlers from the past. Thanks for believing in me. Like, you know, it sounds so corny and like inspirational, but no, sincerely, you know, like there could have been, I have no idea how many people purchased something from me back in June, or even the Danhausen in November, or the Double J in July. I probably never even heard about me until their friends said, hey, check out this guy with these toys. Like, they don't know who I am from a hole in the wall. I could have been some scammer, run away with their money and like move to fucking Japan for all that matters. But the fact that people like believed in me and shelled up, you know, their hard-earned money to buy something from an unproven company, that means a lot. And I'm not going to let anybody down. So for all the doubters and the haters out there, fuck you, right?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
You know who you are? Straight up, fuck you. Fuck you. I'll be damned if I'm going to go this far and not deliver an absolutely as close to perfect product as possible. The prototypes are mind-blowing. The paint is immaculate. Now, if these fools think I'm not going to deliver and go this far and give you the best quality product in your hand, you are sadly mistaken. And I cannot wait for all of these figures to be in your hands and you're like, holy shit, this guy's the real deal. End of story.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Zombie. If you do run to Japan, you fooled me, brother. I mean, I'll say it right now. You're gonna have 2 earrings. Maybe we're gonna platinum that.
Oh no. No, I'm staying in New York for now. Hopefully, within the next couple of months, we're gonna move maybe to Florida or freaking I don't know, Tennessee or something. But yeah, I'm in New York for now, so I'm not going anywhere, man. This thing is my entire life. I'm on call 24/7, making sure that this brand is as good as it gets, and I'm not going anywhere, man. God willing. So
awesome, dude. Well, thank you so much. Where can everybody find you again? Tell everybody, our listeners, watchers, where they can find you on social media, etc.
Yeah, Instagram at Zombie Sailors Toys, the Zombie Sailor at the Zombie Sailor on Twitter, and then zombiesailor.com on the website. And again, Series 2 will be up for pre-order once Series 1 gets fulfilled. Now, we have like well over 10,000 orders we have to get fulfilled, and I have like about 7 employees now that are going to be pumping this out from morning to night once they actually come in stock. So I'm not throwing, this isn't Amazon, right? I'm not just throwing them in a box and like, okay, here you go, see ya. Like, dude, custom tissue paper, padding, bubble wrap, you're going to have a beautiful package. Like even the brown box you're going to get is going to be clean with some nice, little, custom Zombie Sailor Here's and Faces tissue paper. So what I'm trying to get at is I'm taking great care in your figure. I'm not going to throw it in a box. I know there's so many Mint on card collectors out there, myself included. You're going to get your stuff in great condition. If you don't get it, give me, an email, whatever, we'll take care of it. But what I'm getting at is I'm going to get these out to you as quickly as possible with the utmost care. And I'm not going to sacrifice time for quality. End of story. Simple as that.
There you go. That's awesome. And I'll tell you, just even hearing that, to know as a Mint on Card collector, hashtag Mint on Card for life here at the Squared Circle Action Figure Podcast, it makes me so happy that you are going to take that extra time and effort to do that, because it's super important to us. So thank you so much, Josh at Zombie. Thank you, Zombie. Yes, guys, go get the Heels and Faces figures. Go get them. They're amazing. You heard all the announcements. Follow them on the social media platform. And hey, if you liked it, we're here every Thursday and or Friday. Sometimes we change up Thursday and Friday here at the Squared Circle Action Figure Podcast YouTube channel, our YouTube live stream, Uncensored. Follow us also on Instagram and Twitter at SQD Circle AFP. We're also going to be having our KWK figure body cards releasing in February. They're on the boat. They're on the way. The website's up. We're going to make some improvements, and we'll start selling figures very soon as well. Who knows? Maybe some Zombie Sailor eventually. I don't know. I'm looking. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Give us a like. Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, we'll see you later. Awesome, dude.
Okay, man.